Edith Tyrrell founded an organization that had a significant impact on the mining industry and affected the lives of many of its leaders. What started as a simple idea to connect women associated with mining resulted in a legacy that lived long beyond her years. The Women's Association of the Mining Industry of Canada celebrates its 100th anniversary in 2021, an anniversary that marks the significant contribution both Edith and the organization have made to the mining industry.
The reason that they started the organization was so that women could meet other women and make friends, lasting friendships.
When Edith Tyrrell brought 10 women together in 1921, it was the beginning of a dynamic organization that would grow to 400 members, an organization that would affect the lives of hundreds of people through its charitable works and bursaries and scholarships.
The word spread. You really should belong to this organization because we're a good group of people and we need your help. We need your gifts of whatever you can do. And the organization just grew and grew.
It all started with Mary Edith Tyrrell, born in St. John, New Brunswick in 1870, daughter of a Baptist minister. Weighing only 3 pounds at birth, she was nicknamed Dolly. It was after returning to Canada following high school in England that Edith's life changed. Their home became a gathering place for politicians and scholars. It's there her adventure started when she met her future husband, Joseph Bird Tyrrell, a renowned mapmaker with the Geological Survey of Canada.
He had already been on some great expeditions in northern Canada and would continue to do that, and discovered dinosaurs and coal in Alberta. He too was inducted into the Canadian Mining Hall of Fame in 1997.
She understood the joys and hardships of being married to someone in the field, the long absences, and sometimes travel to remote places with her husband. Edith felt there was a need to connect to other wives going through the same experiences. As the years passed, the women began making their first contributions to the industry.
Towards the end of the 1930s, each member was asked to contribute $2 to a scholarship fund that they established for a student in the geology or mining sciences.
Since those beginnings, the organization has distributed over $1.8 million to good causes, establishing a foundation in 1964.
There are many men who were able to get our scholarships and bursaries who ended up in that industry, and some of them have done extremely well. I mean, they are huge in the industry.
I have been touched many times by the legacy of the founder of WAMIC. In the 70s, I was a mining student and was awarded an Edith Tyrrell scholarship from WAMIC. That $2,000 was then a princely sum for a student. In the 80s and 90s, I saw WAMIC members tirelessly support PDAC and CIM conventions, when those organizations were so much more dependent on volunteers than today. I am grateful to both Edith Tyrrell and the WAMIC organization she created.
It was Edith's foresight and hard work through the founding of WAMIC that has awarded funds to the many financially struggling students like myself who are self-financing their education. I attribute the receipt of those early WAMIC awards, my first ever academic acknowledgements, as playing a substantive role in assisting me through those very tentative early years. For that, credit must go to Edith Tyrrell.
Edith and the women of WAMIC have worked tirelessly for decades, contributing their time, energy, and enthusiasm to volunteer work and fundraising events.
We weren't only entertaining and having fundraisers and fashion shows and teas. Every 2 years we'd have the big fairs.
Mary Edith Tyrrell passed away in 1945, but her tenacity and commitment to mining women lives on through the accomplishments of the organization.
Well, her daughter described her as two people. There was Mary Edith, who was dignified and rather stern. And then there was Dolly, as she'd been called when she was born. She seems to have been a bit of a live wire, feisty, I think a sense of humor, and willing to go anywhere with her husband.
Although the organization is winding down after 100 years, its ability to give lives on through ongoing scholarships, now administered by other organizations.
The wonderful thing is, we are still going to continue to be able to give our scholarships because that money has been all invested.
The impact of Edith's legacy is still felt in organizations WAMEC supported, like CIM, PDAC, and the Canadian Mining Hall of Fame. The one thing that can't be measured is the deep and long-lasting friendships that were developed in WAMEC's 100-year history. Hundreds of women connected by one idea, conceived by Mary Edith Tyrrell in 1921.